This is a 4K to 1080 downscaler and HDCP enabler, and usually we are looking for ways to increase the resolution that we can put in our TVs and our displays. But there are some certain cases where we have a TV that it's only capable of accepting 1080p resolution maximum, and if we go above, it will not display anything at all. And there are some set-top boxes and some devices that will only output 4K or above and don't have a way to change the resolution, and in those cases I will not be able to use a device such as this to display image on a TV such as this, unless I really want. And if I want, then there's a 4K to 1080 and HDCP enabler available that I can connect between the two and change the resolution or downscale it. Welcome back to the OREI's YouTube channel. My name is George, and let's take a closer look at it. Inside this small package, we will find this small 4K to 1080 resolution downscaler and a really small, quick user guide, which is so easy to use that we won't require this one. And it has a really interesting detail at the back. We can see the EDID modes that we can change. So we don't need to look at the manual, we don't need to remember, we just need to take a look at it. Connectivity wise, there is an HDMI input right over here, which is where we are going to connect to our set-top box or to any other device that we need to downscale. And then we have the EDID optional here and HDCP as well, with the instructions down below, which we will take a look in just a few moments. And then on this side we have the HDMI output, which is labeled right over here, and also the USB Type-C connection for power, which is DC 5 volts. Now, in terms of the usage of the EDID, it's really straightforward as well, and we don't need to remember because the instructions are right over here. So the mode that I'm showing to you will be this mode or this one right over here, because I want to downscale to 1080 using LPCM or DTS Dolby, which depending on the device that I want to use and depending on the audio that I want to use, then I will have these options here. Of course, we also have these options here which might be useful for those that don't want to downscale from 4K to 4K but want to have HDCP enabled, for example, which is a really great scenario for this downscaler as well. But the usage is simple as this. So if I want to use this mode right over here, which enables the pin number 3, the only thing that I need to do is enable pin number 3 to up, and there we go. I'm using this mode right over here. If I want to use this one, I need to put number 2 up. If I want to use this one, I need to put number 2 and number 3 up and number 1 down. So really straightforward and simple as this. Here we are with a simple setup for the OREI XD-3000, which is this downscaler 4K to 1080 with HDCP. And at this moment I'm using a 4K display so that we can see changes in resolution in just a moment. But this is a scenario that we could use in TVs or displays such as this one, that it's not capable of displaying 4K. So if I want to connect a device with 4K resolution, it will only accept 1080 and I will have no image at all. And this downscaler will be able to turn the 4K into 1080 native resolution so that I can use this display right over here. Now, the disadvantage of using this display here on the setup is that I will not be able to show you the all resolutions available, and on this 4K display I will be able to do so. At this moment I can select between any of these resolutions. This is a Android set-top box and we are using the largest resolution possible, which is 4K at 60 Hz. Now, if I want to downscale, we have a lot of options here on the EDID, and if I go to this option here, just putting number 3 up, what it will do is downscaling to 1080. So at this moment, this 4K display thinks that the source is sending or outputting 1080. So this will be the exact scenario if I connect the OREI downscaler to this display or any display that only accepts 1080 maximum resolution, then it will think that the original device has 1080. Now, there are a lot more benefits like the HDCP that we will be able to enable in some devices that we can't otherwise. And right over here, this is one of the examples that at this moment, it's as my device is outputting 1080 of maximum resolution, which is not. The only thing that is changing is this downscaler here, which is controlling, and it takes about 1 or 2 seconds to do this refresh, where it will sync and see if the resolution does match, and it does at this moment. Instead of 1080, we can go back to the 4K resolution here at the top. So if I press 4K, it will change on a set-top box and it will start sending the 4K. So it will ask me, and once I do change right over here to number 3 on the EDID, and it will take a couple of seconds again, and we will have the 1080 resolution. Now, one of the differences, did you notice that when changing to 4K, the operating system asked me if I wanted that resolution? In this particular case, it doesn't ask me anything at all, because it does only output 1080, so no questions asked. And that's it, easy as this. So in a situation where we have a device that it's not capable of outputting a resolution acceptable by the TV that we have, which in this particular case, it only accepts 1080 maximum, then we just need to change here the EDID, possibly also the HDCP, if that's something that we require as well. And that's it, one cable in, one cable out, connect to our TV, to our set-top box, and simple as this. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. If you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing it so that we can keep on sharing news and tips such as this. My name is Roberto George, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.